Hi friends, in today's video, we'll see how we can integrate our API gateway with the SQS. So for that, we will first log into our AWS account and we'll create a queue. So for that, I'll search simply here SQS. We'll select the simple queue service. Click on create queue. I'm selecting standard queue and just simply hit on create queue. So our queue will be created. Now we need this queue URL and the ARN of a queue. So we'll simply copy it and paste it in a notepad for our future use. This one is the URL and we need the queue ARN as well. So we'll say paste both here. And now uh, we have to create a policy for this. So we'll simply search IAM. We'll go to this IAM section and we'll simply create a policy. So in the left section, you can see these policies. We just simply click on the policies. Now on the right side, you will see the create policy option here. Now you have to simply create a policy and we'll simply select a JSON and you will see one uh, JSON here. So we have to create a policy for this. So in this format, we have to create a policy. So the action will be send message and the queue URL will be this one. So we'll simply select this action as a SQS send message and we'll test it here. And the resource as well. So we'll just replace it with these values and here we have to provide resource as a QARN. So we just simply took the QARN from here. This one will be our QURN ARN. So we have to paste it here and simply next. We have to give the name to this policy. So we'll simply give the name to Q policy. We'll simply go to create policy. Now we have to create a role for it. So we'll simply go to roles, click on create role. We'll select the AWS service and here we will select API gateway. We because we are creating this role for the API gateway. So we'll select the API gateway and we'll create the role. So we'll just click on the next, and we have to provide the role name. So we'll provide the role as a API gateway access role. So we'll simply create on role. Here you can see the our role is created, API gateway access role. We just select this role and we have to attach the policy that we have created to this role. So we'll simply click on our created role. We'll simply head over to the add permissions and we'll select the attach policies here. And now we'll search our created policy, which is a queue policy I have created just now. So this one, we'll just click select this policy and add permission. Now this permission is added to this role, so we will need this ARN of this role, so we'll copy the ARN of this role and paste it here. So now we will search for API gateway. We'll select API gateway here. Click on create API. We'll create API for the REST API, not private. It's just a REST API. So we'll click on build. We'll create a new API. So I'll select a new. I'll just name it as a Queue API. And we just simply hit on create API here. Now our API is created. Now we will create a resource for it. So I'll give resource to queue resource. We'll simply hit on create resource. Now we will create a method in it. So we'll just in this section we will see the create a method option here. So we'll just hit on create method. So method type will be the post because we will send message to the queue. So we'll select post and we'll select integrate with AWS service. We'll select our region. In my case, it is a US East one. AWS service we were using, which will be the SQS. And now we'll leave the subdomain. And again here, method will be the post. Action type is user path override. And you can see this path override. In this path override, we have to give the URL of our queue. In from our queue URL, we have to select this our account ID and the queue name. So we'll just select this and we'll give the path override as this one. And the role we have created, we have to give this ARN of this role. So this role will be attached to it. So we will copy this role ARN and we'll paste it here. Now we'll simply click on create method. Now here our post method is created. Now we left with some of the configuration. So we'll click on the integration request. You can see headers. So we have to add some headers here. So we'll click on edit. So we'll select AWS services. Other things were selected. We'll go to this URL request header parameters. We'll add parameters. We'll add the method type, content type. Content type will be application, we need to put it in single inverted commas. So we'll put application slash x slash www slash form URL encoded. And in the mapping templates, we have to add the mapping templates, content type as application slash JSON, and in the template body, we'll simply add action equal to send message and message body equal to dollar sign input dot body. And we'll simply hit on save. Now you can see this method is created. Now we'll simply click on the test. We'll simply add the messages to the queue. So we'll check if the message is sending to the queue or not. Test section. We'll hit on test. We got some error here, so we need to check what is the error here. No, we'll get the success, 200 success. So we'll check our queue here. So we'll go to queue. From here we'll just check our queue if the message is there in the queue or not. This is our sample queue. We'll go to send and receive message, click on poll for message. Now you can see here we have one message, hi from test section. We'll just simply open it in another tab. So we do not need to jump from another tab, so we'll just go to our API gateway. Here's the API gateway, is Queue API. Now we'll simply deploy our API. So we'll click on deploy API. We'll choose a stage as a new stage and give the stage name as a test, and we'll simply deploy our gateway. So here you will get the invoke URL. So we'll copy this API gateway URL and now our API gateway is deployed. Now we can test it from the Postman API as well. So for that we need this API gateway URL as well as we have to provide the resource name as well with slash. We just need to append it with our queue URL. So this will be our URL to send messages to SQS. So we'll just go to Postman and we'll select method as a post, and headers will be in headers we have to add content type as a application slash JSON, and in the authorization we don't need any authorization, so we'll select no auth. Content type will be application slash JSON. In the body we'll select raw, and here you can test any message. Now we'll simply click on send. Now you can see we got the status as a 200 and the response. So we'll just go and check our queue. We'll just simply do a poll for message, and if you see the second message testing API, and here from Postman we can send the JSON object as well. We'll simply create name, it will be ID will be PRN102221. We'll just send it, and if you go to our queue, we'll just simply refresh our screen. Just click on poll for messages, and you can see the messages here in the body. Now it's done.